Alien Romulus is a pretty standard legacy sequel if I've ever seen one, but I still think it offered a fun enough time to make for a solid enough entry in this franchise. This goes for a much more straightforward approach than classic Alien movies, not as rich with the thematic depth that complemented the heavy genre elements that made those movies so memorable. But in terms of crafting the atmosphere, Fede Alvarez proves once again why he's one of the best working in the genre today, with a relentlessly visceral feel, with eerie moments of tension crafted by its claustrophobic settings and camera angles. Plus, there's also all the cool practical effects, which allow for some stylish moments of alien carnage that made for a lot of fun, especially in its absolutely wild last 20 minutes, which I won't spoil, but for how off the rails it gets, I kind of wish we got to have seen even more of that in the rest of the movie. But it at least made for a nice payoff for the previous 90 minutes of build-up. Now, with that being said, this isn't without its faults. Like I mentioned, it does fall into the usual trappings that go with a legacy sequel, with a number of callbacks pushed down our throats, with classic lines being awkwardly shoehorned in, and then with the use of Ian Holmes' likeness for a completely different character that seemed more like a reference just for the sake of it. On top of that, while I thought the cast was solid all around, the only real depth came from Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson's characters, with Johnson in particular giving the absolute best performance once a certain plot point comes into play. Everyone else felt like a throwaway role and were ultimately forgettable. I would have especially liked a little more development to Isabella Merced's character, as she is integral to the story, but ultimately for the sake of a plot device rather than due to any intriguing character development. But all that being said, despite the glaring issues that I had with it, I think the good outweighs the bad here. I still found it to be a fun enough time and a worthy addition to this iconic franchise.